John Wall apparently thinks very highly of himself, and for good reason. You see, in what's been a relatively forgettable season for the Clippers, John Wall has been one of the few bright spots in the team, and while his numbers might not be the best, Wall still believes he's one of the best two-way point guards in the entire NBA. Here's why the athlete thinks this, and if his opinion holds any merit. First up, John Wall claims he is one of the best two-way point guards in the NBA.
John, you didn't waste any time agreeing to terms with the Clippers. Why the Clippers?
It hasn't been a great season for the Clippers, but if there's one person that's given us hope, it's John Wall. So far, Wall has averaged 13 points, 5 assists, and 1.1 steals per game while shooting 44%. Sure, the numbers are nothing to rave about for a 5-time All-Star like Wall, but it's certainly impressive for a player who has had multiple career-ending injuries in a short span of time. Now, despite his low numbers, Wall still considers himself to be one of the best in his position. In an interview with The Athletic this week, the former Wizards guard opened up about his early season play and where he stands when it comes to the game's top floor generals. The athlete told the interviewer that he accepts that his shooting game isn't always on point. There are good nights, and then there are really bad ones. But Wall believes that there are a lot of other ways he can contribute to the game when he's having a bad scoring night. He further explained his logic that even if he's not scoring hoop after hoop, he can still get 10 assists. He can still lock up with the best players in the opposition, and yeah, all these little things do count and play a huge part in keeping a team going. So we get what Wall's trying to say here.
Yeah, it was a tough time, man, because it was to the point where some people don't tuck their pride when you have to be in a certain situation. I was like...
Moving on, why does Wall say this?
How much the game means to me. The work I put in, that's why you see I bring him to the gym a lot of times with me.
The player explained his reasoning by saying that playing ball isn't just about scoring. He added, if you're just a scorer and you're not having a good scoring night, what are you on the floor for? He then got a little self-indulgent and claimed that he brings way more to the floor than just scoring, and stated that it's just a bonus for him. Wall also claimed that he could easily score 30 every night, but he doesn't because he chooses not to. The athlete says that he's fine with getting 10 or 20 points with 4 assists and 3 blocks. To Wall, it's all about variety, and that's why he thinks he's one of the best two-way point guards in the entire league. Now, he may be good, but he's nowhere near his peak. We know it might seem like a lifetime ago, but there was a time when John Wall was one of the best players in the league. Everyone would agree that Wall was at his peak during his time with Washington. He averaged 19.9 points, 9.9 assists, and 1.8 steals per game, and was named to the All-Star team 5 years in a row. Now, it probably isn't a far-fetched to say that he's never going to be the optimist dime we knew and loved, but we're guessing Wall already knows that, and he isn't taking his position for granted. He is fortunate to have landed a permanent role in the Clippers, which is more than what some other longtime veterans can say. Let's talk about his comeback. It has been a tough road to recovery for Wall, but he's officially back in the game. The Los Angeles Clippers roster was struggling offensively from the perimeter when Wall started making his way back from a break that started in April 2021. His on-ball speed is still intact, and he has made 51.6% of his two-point attempts overall, including a whopping 78% clip at the rim, where he takes more than 1/3 of his shots. Wall received a demonstrative net negative in all 3 areas, but his above-the-break efficiency lowered his overall score. Across 39 attempts, he's hitting 25.6% of his non-corner threes. Sure, his mid-range volume isn't helping matters. He's shooting 32.3% from the in-between zone and should cut back on the number of shots he's taking outside 14 feet, but inside the arc. Not to mention, Wall has received support from Draymond Green. Draymond Green recently spoke about Wall's comeback. The Golden State forward was asked about the point guard's return to the court after his team defeated the Los Angeles Clippers. Green said that seeing John Wall back on the court is huge. The Golden State player also praised Wall for being a key player in the league for over a decade. He continued that, you hate to see a player go through injuries. And he's right. It definitely was hard to see Wall step off the court because of injuries, especially since he could still go as hard as anyone on the floor. Green went on to say that basketball is a way to cope for many of the league's players. He explained that a basketball court is a place where all stress and outside problems can be released, and Draymond, of all people, understands how difficult it can be for a player to have that taken away. Now, that's it for John Wall, but let's look at some of the top NBA point guards for 2022-23. Needless to say, point guards are usually one of the most important players on the court. They often control the offense and decide who gets the ball and who doesn't. Let's list down some of the top point guards in the NBA for the 2022-23 season, starting with Damian Lillard at number 6. Lillard's 2021-22 season was a complete nightmare. His shooting was significantly hampered. He made a career-low 32.4% of his three-point attempts. Perhaps its only saving grace was, and we know this is mean, the fact that it ended early because of an abdominal injury. Now the question is if Lillard has fully recovered from missing Portland's last 47 games in the previous season. Also, have the Blazers added enough support around Lillard for him to qualify for the playoffs? If you ask us, Lillard is still only 32 years old, and his shooting stroke should resurface after he's had time to heal. Before the injury, he was a top 10 or top 15 player, and something tells us he's far from done. Moving on to Jay Morant at number 5. Morant is one of the league's most dynamic players. He elevated his game last season, scoring 30 points or more 24 times, including a career-high 52 points against the Spurs on February 28. No one drives the ball as hard as he does. He also led in points in the paint per game and was the only guard to rank in the top 10. We have no doubt that Morant will rise through the ranks as he gains experience and improves. Coming up next at number 4 is Darius Garland. Garland is one of the greatest hidden gems in the NBA today. After a rocky start to his career, Garland has slowly blossomed into an offensive force for a surprisingly good Cavaliers team, averaging 21.7 points and 8.6 assists per game. As one of last year's most improved players, Garland had 7 30-plus point scoring performances in 2021-22, including a career-high 41 points against the Pacers on March 8. Let's hope he can continue improving at the same pace. Now let's talk about Trae Young at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great summer for me. My son was born.
Few players finished the last season stronger than Young. The two-time NBA All-Star scored 40 points or more 7 times in the final 3 months last season. However, his best individual effort actually happened a little earlier on January 3, when he exploded for a career-high 56 points, along with dishing out 14 assists against the Blazers. There are definitely big things in store for him. Coming in second, Stephen Curry.
Trying to take advantage of this week and make it about basketball, our preparation for the season.
Curry proved all his doubters wrong in the 2022 NBA Finals. He let his skills show just how valuable he truly is when he destroyed the NBA's best defense en route to securing his first Finals MVP award. There's absolutely no doubt that Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and the Warriors' whole offense is built around his presence on the court. That's not something they do with just anybody. He will definitely be remembered as one of the all-time greats, and we believe as he enters his 14th season, Curry still has a few more years of extremely high-level plays ahead of him.
You're not going to get too wrapped up in those. Luka had one tonight.
Finally, at number 1, it's Luka Doncic. Most people believe that even at only 23 years old, Doncic is already a top 5 player in the league. The question now is whether he can lead the Mavericks to a championship without a superstar sidekick. After a slow start to last season, Doncic finished with top 5 numbers. He is the only player in NBA history to average at least 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists per game, joining the likes of Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook.
I mean, it was great, just participated, giving everything.
Doncic really stepped up his game in the 2022 NBA playoffs when he led Mavericks to an unexpected Western Conference Finals appearance, and we believe it's only a matter of time before Doncic is named MVP for the first time.
Yeah, I think it's just playing at my own pace, I think a lot of guys appreciate that.
That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of John Wall's comments? Is he the best two-way point guard in the NBA? And if not him, then who? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.